Welcome to the course on Python for data analytics, machine learning, and generative AI. Streamlit helps us turn a Python program into an interactive web application very quickly. We only need to write Python code and the app is created automatically. This makes app development simple, fast, and easy for everyone. Normally, building a web application needs many languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Streamlit removes this difficulty by allowing us to use only Python. We can focus more on our ideas and data instead of web design. This saves time and makes development easier. The continuous execution loop. Let's see how the Streamlit runs continuously. First, we write the Python code and run the Streamlit server. When we make any change to the code, the app updates automatically in the browser. This helps us see results instantly and work faster. To install Streamlit, run pip install Streamlit in the command prompt or terminal. To run a Streamlit app, open command prompt or Anaconda prompt and type Streamlit run filename.py. After running the command, Streamlit starts a local development server and displays the URL in the form of http://localhost:8501. Open this URL in the browser to view and interact with the app. The st.writeoff function is a very useful feature in Streamlit. It can display text, numbers, tables, lists, and charts easily. Streamlit understands the data type and shows it in the correct format. This reduces extra coding and makes the app clear and user-friendly. Now let's explore how typography helps structure a Streamlit application. At the top, we use st.titleof to define the main page title. This is the most prominent element and gives user immediate context. Next, st.headerof introduces major sections within the app. The st.subheaderof is used for smaller subsections, helping break content into logical parts. We can also use markdown such as ### to create additional heading levels for finer hierarchy. st.textof displays plain unformatted text. Together, these elements create a clear visual hierarchy, making the application easier to read and navigate. The status alert framework. Here, let's demonstrate how the Streamlit communicates system status to users using alerts. st.successof function displays a green message indicating successful operations. st.infoof provides informational updates in a neutral blue tone. st.warningof highlights caution or approaching limits using a yellow alert. st.errorof shows critical issues in red such as failures. Finally, st.exceptionof is used to display detailed error tracebacks which are especially useful for debugging. These alerts improve user experience by providing clear, real-time feedback. Let's now look at how to display images in a Streamlit app. We begin by importing the image module from the PIL library. We can load an image using image.openof. Then we can display it using st.imageof. We can control the display size using parameters like width. In the case here, it is 400 pixels. This allows us to integrate visual content seamlessly into our applications, enhancing presentations and user engagement. Let's now see how to choose the right input widget based on user requirements. For simple on-off visibility, we use checkbox with st.checkboxof. When users need to select one option from a few visible choices, we use radio buttons with st.radioOff. If there are many options but only one selection is needed, a drop-down using st.select box off is more efficient. For multiple selections, we use st.multi-select allows users to choose more than one option. Choosing the right widgets ensures better usability and cleaner interface design. Streamlit handles dynamic user inputs and actions. For numeric input, we use a slider with st.slideroff, which allows users to select values interactively. The selected value updates instantly. For text inputs, st.text underscore input of captures user input in real time, simulating form interactions. Finally, st.buttonoff acts as an action trigger. When clicked, it executes a block of Python code. Together, these components enable interactive and responsive applications, making Streamlit powerful for building data-driven interfaces. Now let's explore how an BMI calculator app collects user input. The application begins with a simple title using st.titleof, which displays the heading BMI calculator on the screen. Next, we capture inputs using Streamlit interactive components. The variable weight is created using st.number underscore input, allowing users to enter their weight in kilograms. Similarly, the variable height captures the user's height in meters. These components work instantly in the browser. As soon as the user types a value, it stores in the respective variable. This process shows how Streamlit connects user interface elements directly to Python variables without needing complex front-end code. Now let's explain how the BMI calculator processes input and displays the result. First, we define a trigger using a button. The statement st.button within that calculate a BMI waits for the user to click before performing any calculation. Once the button is pressed, the app executes the BMI formula. BMI equals weight divided by height squared. This calculation is handled using standard Python code, making the logic simple and efficient. After computing the BMI value, the result is displayed using st.success. This function shows a highlighted message such as your BMI is 22.86, providing clear visual feedback to the user. An important point here is that Streamlit manages both the logic and the display. There is no need for separate front-end and back-end integration. Let's now see what is the Streamlit Builder Toolkit. Streamlit simplifies application development by offering a set of built-in Python functions. First, under structure, we have elements like st.title, st.header, and st.markdown. This helps organize and format the content of the app. Next, selection components such as checkbox, radio buttons, and select boxes allow users to make choices easily. Under input and action, tools like buttons, text inputs, and sliders enable user interaction and control. For media and output, functions like st.image and st.write help displaying the content in various formats. Finally, feedback components such as st.success, st.warning, and st.error communicate results and system responses effectively. Together, these 14 functions form a powerful toolkit that allows developers to build complete interactive application using only Python. Totally, Streamlit reduces complexity by combining UI design and programming into a single framework. Let's now open Jupyter Notebook and see how Streamlit works. The opening lines introduces three libraries, Streamlit, Pandas, and Joblib. Each plays a distinct role. Streamlit operates as the presentation layer, responsible for rendering inputs and outputs in a web-based environment. Pandas functions as a structural backbone, converting loosely defined user inputs into a tabular form that aligns with the expectations of machine learning models. Joblib, on the other hand, serves as the bridge between training and deployment. It retrieves a previously trained pipeline, ensuring that the computational effort invested during model development is preserved and reused. This separation between training and inference is not incidental. It reflects a standard practice in production grade system. Loading the file named complete underscore pipeline.pkl deserves closer attention. This file is not merely a model, it encapsulates an entire workflow. Pre-processing steps such as imputation, scaling, encoding, and embedded alongside the classifier. Streamlit abstracts away the complexities of front-end development, allowing the focus to remain on functionality rather than design mechanism. Our user inputs are then collected through the structured widgets. Each widget is deliberately chosen. The select box for passenger class ensures categorical consistency. The same applies to gender and embarkation port. By restricting user inputs to predefined categories, the application prevents invalid or unseen values from entering the model. This design choice directly addresses the issue of data drift at the interface level. The age input is implemented as the slider, which introduces both convenient and control. Sliders, sliders reduce the likelihood of erroneous entries and implicitly communicate acceptable ranges. The fair input is, in contrast, is handled through a numerical field, reflecting its continuous nature. Once inputs are collected, they are assembled into a pandas data frame. This step may appear procedural, yet it is conceptually significant. Machine learning models operate on structured arrays, not on isolated variables. When the input data is passed to the model, a sequence of transformation unfolds internally. Missing values are handled, numerical features are scaled, categorical variables are encoded, and finally the classifier produces an output. The user do not see these intermediate steps. This is invisible. This invisibility is by design. It reflects the abstraction that pipelines provide complex operations are encapsulated, allowing the interface to remain clean and intuitive. The final output is presented using conditional messaging. A prediction value of 1 results in a success message, while 0 triggers an alternate response. At this point, there are two essential steps to ensure that the Streamlit application runs smoothly. The first involves converting the notebook into a Python script, and the second focuses on executing that script from the correct directory. Let us begin with the first scenario. In the Jupyter Notebook top menu bar, within the menu, locate the File option. Under File, you will find an option labeled Save and Export Notebook as. In the earlier versions, this was referred to as Download as. From this submenu, select Executable Script, which will save your notebook as a Python file with the .py extension. This step is critical because Streamlit does not execute notebook files. It requires a clean Python script. Now moving to the second part, running the application from the correct folder. Often the script file named app.py file is saved. This is done using the change directory command. For example, type cd followed by the complete path of your project folder in the Anaconda prompt. In this case, the command would include the path leading to your folder, which is Python project directory. Once enter is pressed, the terminal is now aligned with the correct folder. After ensuring the right location, execute the command streamlit run app.py. This instructs Streamlit to launch the application. Within a few seconds, the interface will open automatically in the browser or provide the local URL that you can manually access. These two steps converts the notebook into a Python script, and running it from the appropriate directory may appear procedural, yet they are foundational. They reflect a broader transition from exploratory analysis. These two steps converts the notebook into a Python script and helps us run from the Anaconda prompt scripting. By giving passenger class sex, age, fare, and impact, and now by clicking on predict, the answer has been given. The passenger is likely to survive. So this is how the Streamlit works. Thank you. Thank you.